I have a Casio edifice that I've had my eye on for quite some time, and a little while ago in April I saw that this watch is now being discounted. In fact, I've just seen this watch online available to buy within the UK for £110. Well, not this particular colour version, but a version of this watch, and I think you might even be able to get an extra 10% off if you sign up to the newsletter. That's with H. Samuel, don't quote me on that. The list price of this watch is around £140, so £110 for this watch seems like a pretty decent price. But before you rush off to place your order, finish watching this video because, oh man, this watch has been a real challenge for me. If you are familiar with my channel, you know that build quality is important to me. I like to focus on things like steel finishing, the quality of dials, applied indices, how much dust and debris is on the dial and under the crystal, the overall list of specifications, you know, the build quality. I want the watches that I feature on this channel to represent good value for money, not just because the specifications list is strong or because it's a well-known brand like Seiko or Casio, but I want the watches to be well made. And when they're not, it's a big issue for me. The more expensive the watch, of course, the bigger issue it's going to be. This is quite an affordable watch, and it's a Casio, and some of the strengths are really good, and that's why this watch has given me a bit of a headache, because in my natural state I'd want to run through all the weaknesses and just complain about this watch, but I find myself not wanting to do that because, well, like I said already, the strengths are actually very strong. And I think most of the weaknesses are going to be overlooked by most people. Almost no one is going to look at this watch through a macro lens. Once you've put it on an alternative strap and thrown it on your wrist, you're going to forget about most of the weaknesses, but I still want to share them with you because, well, that's the whole point of reviews like this. I want to give you all the information so you can make an informed decision. So let me just quickly reel off what I consider to be the weaknesses of this watch. It's got hollow end links, folded links in the bracelet. Having said that, they are pretty good. The crease is not that obvious. Split pins, a horrible pressed clasp. The chronograph function is almost useless. The seconds for the chronograph is in the subdial at the 6 o'clock. It's so small, it's almost impossible to use. The pusher action is dreadful, no feedback whatsoever. It's not a mecha quartz movement. This is a VD53, so it's a quartz chronograph. The hour and the minute hand have these massive overhangs at the back. I just don't think that looks very good at all. There's a lot of dust on the dial. It's unbelievable. The steel finishing is not great at all. The sides of the case are polished. I think they should be brushed. The dial brushing towards the center is terrible, and the hand alignment, not just of the chronograph seconds hand but the main seconds hand on the main dial, is very sloppy. Sometimes it hits the markers, sometimes it's bang on in between the markers. Even the jumps for that second hand seem to vary in terms of the distance that they cover. Sometimes the second hand jumps just a little bit, and sometimes it takes these massive jumps. How do they do that? Anyway, yeah, when I made this list of weaknesses, it made me question, you know, would anybody actually pay even £110 for this watch? But the truth is, you're not really going to look at this watch under a macro lens, and not many people are actually going to use the chronograph function. We like the look of chronograph watches, but we don't really use them. It's a bit like dive watches, isn't it? We wear them because they're over-engineered, but we don't take them diving. Be honest, when was the last time you actually used the chronograph function on your watch? So after I made that list of weaknesses, I took a step back and really put some thought into it because, well, despite those weaknesses, I still really like the watch. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. When you look at the strengths, I think it becomes clear why a lot of people are able to overlook the weaknesses. So let me run through my list of strengths. The brand, it is a Casio edifice. This isn't a Chinese watch. If a Chinese watch was made like this, there'd be no excuses. But because it's a Casio edifice, it's sort of expected, and it's a big brand. It's got a huge following. That following is loyal, and they are prepared to overlook the weaknesses that this watch has. It's got a Seiko movement inside it. That surprised me, actually. Yeah, it's not a great movement by any means. It's a $20 movement. What's that, about £15? It's better than some chronograph movements, but yeah, it's not the best, but it is a Seiko chronograph movement. It looks fantastic. Obviously a Zenith inspired watch, and how it looks is one of the main reasons why I think a lot of people will overlook the weaknesses. The price, it's competitively priced. You put this watch up against AliExpress watches, it's going to be heavily under spec, but its price is competitive. It's got sapphire crystal. I was surprised to see that this watch has sapphire crystal, and again, I think that's another reason why a lot of people will be overlooking the weaknesses. It's a strap monster, isn't it? The K-shape, the 20mm lug width, the overall look of the watch. Chronographs just look good on bracelets and leather straps, don't they? So a lot of the weaknesses are with the bracelet and the clasp and the end links, and if you throw this watch on a leather strap, well, those weaknesses no longer matter. The loom, it's actually got decent loom. The hands are a little bit weaker than the applied indices, but I was surprised at how well the loom lasted during my 5-minute loom deg test, and 100 meters of water resistance. Of course, you can't use the pressers underwater, but then why would you? You can barely read the chronograph on dry land. You're not going to be able to read it underwater. So when you think about the strengths, a lot of the weaknesses do fade away, don't they? They become less important. If those weaknesses existed on a $150 AliExpress watch, oh man, the watch would be absolutely slated. But because this is a Casio edifice, I think we're able to look past them to some degree. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's the reality, I think. And even I myself am able to overlook some of the weaknesses because of all those strengths that I've listed out. The list of strengths pretty compelling. And yeah, for the money, £110 for the Blue Dial version at the moment. In the UK with H. Samuel, that's pretty good, isn't it? I paid £112 for this watch. Now it's time for me to throw it back to you guys. Let me know in the comments section what your thoughts are on this watch, the weaknesses versus the strengths. If you're a Casio fan, I suspect, yeah, you'll love the watch. If you're not a Casio fan, if you're a fan of affordable watches with incredible build quality and amazing specifications, you're probably looking at this watch and thinking, I wouldn't even spend £10 on that. Can't wait to read your comments.